Where the heck are we?
We are somewhere in Vermont. We're leaving Burlington on our way back to Lebanon, and it's downpouring. The highway is closed, and apparently like all the side roads are dug up, so there's just potholes everywhere.
How fast would we be going on the highway?
60.
How fast are we going?
8. It's probably been about at least half an hour now. Probably longer.
It's 15 miles, but it seems like you would only dig up one road at a time. Like if you're gonna close the highway, then make the detour like good. I don't know. This is weird. It's been an hour. Do you want to update us?
We're still here.
It's 3 days later, and we made it to Walmart. How long do you think it took us to get here?
Like 3 hours from Burlington, probably.
It was a while. It was supposed to be like an hour and a half, and it was like 3 hours.
So tonight we're at Walmart. We just finished eating dinner. We had some leftover tacos, and then we prepared a new dinner for tomorrow, which is ramen, which I'm pretty excited for. And in this video, I think we're going to tell you guys some tips and tricks that we've learned from our
Life.
9 months in van life.
What's the first one?
I don't know.
Meal prep, so you don't have to cook every day.
Meal prep, so you don't have to cook every day. The next tip we have for van life is to fill your water tanks, empty the gray water, and empty the pee jug wherever you possibly have a chance, because you never know when the next time you'll find a place will be.
Even if you don't necessarily need to.
Even if you don't necessarily need to, it will help you in the future.
Our next tip for living in a van is to get yourself a little fan like this guy. It's just a little battery operated jobby that we got from Amazon. We don't really need it right now because it's fall here in New England, so it's starting to get cold, but over this past summer that was a lifesaver. You gotta park with a van downhill so that the water runs down the drain when you're showering. That also holds true for the water in the sink. Sometimes if we're parked on an angle, the water kind of bunches up in the corner of the sink and doesn't all drain down.
One of the other reasons we try to park flat is when we have to make ice, you don't want your ice cubes to be slanted. Makes the water taste different. So, always park flat before you make your ice, and always make your ice before you do driving. Or don't drive until the ice is solid. Once you put the water in the ice cube tray, you have to be able to sit for a while so it can freeze. There's only 3 missing cubes.
How come you use that faucet?
That one's our reverse osmosis filtered water. So now we have clean ice cubes. Look how clean the fridge is. Since we've been talking about parking and factors to consider when choosing a parking spot, one of them is where your head's going to be. So I don't like to sleep if my head is lower than the rest of my body. It's weird to me. And we usually sleep with our heads on the passenger side. So if anything, I would like the passenger side to be slightly elevated or flat. While I'm here, let me show you guys how we watch TV. Everyone asks if we have a TV in our van. I don't know if they're talking about the monitor or cable television, but we don't have either of those things. We have an iPad, and we have subscription services to Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Plex. But we watch those on our iPad, and we've developed a mounting mechanism to be able to put the tablet in the ceiling. So it's here. We have these little tabs that hold the device in place, and then we can just stare up at it while we're in bed.
Before we made those little mounting brackets, we would try standing the tablet up on here, and then, I don't know if you guys can tell, but pretend like you're looking at the tablet over there. Yeah, the neck situation is bad. We could watch TV for like 10 minutes, and then our necks were just killing us, so we would turn it off and go to sleep. But now, look at that posture.
Nice
Oh
and
my
relaxed.
god. I don't know if he told you guys about the night before we picked up our friend Chris when we were just outside of Las Vegas, but it was like 105 degrees outside during the day. And it obviously cooled off at night, but not a lot. And everything inside the van was pretty hot, even though we had been driving around with air conditioning for a while. It just wasn't cutting it. So it was probably like 90 degrees inside here when we were going to sleep at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. It was pretty rough. So what we did was we had the sliding door open with the screen down, both the rear doors open with the screen down, and all of the windows open, and it didn't cool off in here at all. And it was very frustrating. We started looking at air conditioning and all that. But since then,
We had the fan on too.
oh yeah, of course, we had the fan on like high. But since then, we've learned a lot. And what we found is that it doesn't really matter what the temperature is inside the van way over here when we're trying to sleep. It really only matters right here. So we close all the windows except for the one that's by our heads. Right here, this is a window. We leave that open and the fan on. So the cool outside nighttime air gets drawn in right across us and cools us off, and then it goes out the roof. And if it's 100 degrees over there by the driver's seat, I don't care. So that's the tip. If you are in a hot climate in your van, only leave one window open and the fan on.
Or avoid Las Vegas in the summer, because I think their cool night temperatures is still like 80 to 85. But at least you would get a breeze across your body as it goes out the ceiling. And we have the mini fan, which helps.
One more tip, which is not really a thing that we do. It's kind of a thing that we do. But anyways, people that live in houses always say to us like, oh my god, it's so amazing, but I couldn't do that. It's too tiny. But really, our house is way bigger than anyone else's because we just step outside, and our house is basically everything that's not other people's houses. We go to parks, and we go on hikes, and the whole world is basically our backyard.
We spend the majority of our time outside, except for when we're cooking, unless it's over a campfire, or if it's raining, then we'll spend a day inside. But explore outside. That's what makes it worth it.
Kind of the whole point.
It's the whole point. And the dog loves it outside.
If you live in a van with a partner, make sure that you don't smell bad. That's a tip.
I don't think we smell bad. We have a shower, so we do use that. But when water is limited and we have limited dumping spots for our gray water, sometimes we'll shower every other day. But there's still ways to keep yourself fresh.
Don't exert yourself so you don't sweat.
Stand outside in the rain.
Put on deodorant.
Jump in the lake.
Brush your teeth twice a day.
Or 3 times.
I don't think that jives with the ADA recommendations.
Can always use baby wipes or baby powder to help keep yourself smelling fresh.
Do your own work on your van and you can save boatloads of cash. We got a service coming up at 40,000 miles in our van, and we got a quote for $1,100 for the dealership to do it, and I'm gonna do it myself for like $400 for materials. That's an extra like $600 that we can use to travel.
Or 700.
Or 700.
Like 1,100 minus 400.
Yeah, it's however much you want.
I think probably the number one and best tip that we have for van life is to keep everything organized, put everything back in its place, and just try to keep things clean and tidy, because you don't want to be driving around and have things flying everywhere, and it really can get messy quite quickly. So just put things away. It's not that hard. Do the dishes when they're dirty.
And put the sponge in the soap tray so that it stays dry and doesn't stink. That one's an inside joke. I hope that this video was very informative for you and that you enjoyed our sense of humor. If you liked it, then like it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel or else. And that's about it. Bye!